They're very scary panic attacks. It feels a bit like you go over the top. I think it feels a bit like you feel completely out of control, very lightheaded. And I think most people just think they're going to die. They think there's something really wrong, or having a heart attack. It's very, very scary. And your heart starts to really pound. The main part of our brain, like the brainstem, is here. And so this is the part of our brain that we're born with, that, you know, is about eating and sleeping and moving around. And then this part of the brain, which is like the back brain, the fire alarm, smoke alarm of the brain, which is our fight, flight, freeze response. It's actually called our amygdala, which is there to help us to survive. That's sort of tucked in behind. It's quite very close to our brainstem. And then our thinking brain, our cognition, the bit that we used to learn at school, learn with the Bible, that sort of thing, is folded over the top. And when we get threatened, so when we start to be in a frightening situation, maybe we've got to do a presentation, something like that, what happens is this starts firing off the amygdala. It tells you something bad's going to happen, especially if something's happened before where you were really scared. So perhaps a teacher put you on the spot and you couldn't answer, and that was really embarrassing. Then when you feel you're going to be put on the spot again, that can feel like that's going to happen. Your brain's saying, oh no, it's going to happen again, you're going to get embarrassed. And what literally happens is your brain flips its lid, you go into a panic response. So you can't think yourself out of it until you calm this down. And the way to calm this down is literally, as I said, the breathe out longer than you breathe in, and just get grounded as much as you can. I think when we're anxious, when we feel a bit panicky, we start to hyperventilate, and what happens is that sends too much oxygen to the brain, and then it starts to feel really traumatic. It starts to feel like you get this impending sense of doom, and that can feed the panicky feelings. Whereas if you can breathe out longer than you breathe in, so take a really long breath out and then a shorter breath in, that normally sends a message to your brain that you're okay. And for some people it's really helpful to breathe in the Holy Spirit, to imagine breathing in the Holy Spirit, and to breathe out the fear. Some people find that can be helpful, but really simple things, because as I said before, when we get anxious, our thinking brain goes offline. It literally like flips the lid. So trying to do anything too complicated isn't going to work. But if you can't, it takes practice. It's a bit like surfing over the waves of the anxieties. It's adrenaline in your body. It will pass. There is a life. It's got a life cycle. It peaks and then it troughs, and it will pass. About 20 minutes, and it will have flooded and gone out of your body. So it's important to remember it's a hormonal reaction. Don't fight it, because the more you fight it, this is going to start thinking we're fighting now and get even more panicky. Just imagine it. If you imagine those hormones and that reaction, the bodily feelings of it, as the sea, like a really choppy sea, and just almost like try and surf over it, that sometimes can be helpful. But I think the main thing is to say it is really frightening. It is really frightening, and the anxiety is probably built up over a period of time, so it's quite hard at that stage. If you do feel you have to leave the room, that's perfectly fine.